Comcast, introducing expanded universe logo jinxes expanded universe before the first movie in the universe even starts. Reading, movie just whipped its lengthy logos out 3 seconds ago, and then forces us to stare at them again? This is clearly textual harassment. Some guy puts the blood diamond in a thing, and I'm supposed to be all happy because he's wearing a backpack. Present day is the cop-out of titles. What does it even mean? When the movie was shot? When it was released? If I watch it in 20 years, will it still be present day? Movie is like my wife scheduling our date night. Just pick a time, would you?
But today, an ancient tomb filled with the coffins of Crusader knights.
Exposition by news broadcast.
The past cannot remain buried forever.
Now we have narration. So reading, exposition by news broadcast, then narration, all inside 5 minutes. This movie is intentionally trying to trigger me. And you know what? It just might work.
Princess Amenet.
Can't even a little bit of this information dump be handed to the audience later? The mummy wakes up, goes off, kills fools, then we start learning bits and pieces of all this shit. Wouldn't that be better?
Set, the god of death. They made a pact.
You could set this Russell Crowe narration over shots from the first third of Noah, and I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Quadruple pupil. Also, I know it looks cool, but exactly how would quadruple pupil function? Seems to me suddenly having to process extra visual information would at least take some getting used to. Dardis ex machina.
For her sins, Amenet was mummified alive.
Did they really leave eye holes in mummies? This looks more like a speedy papier-mâché Halloween costume than a true mummification. Also, he has now been exposit narrating for 3.5 minutes straight. I timed it, adding 50 freaking sins for this movie's exposition explosion.
There she would remain, condemned to eternal darkness.
So they parallaxed her, eh? That always works. What exactly is going on here? Target practice? If so, what is this guy with the hammer doing? Are they really attempting statue demolition via gunfire? Also, isn't this guy directly in the line of fire? Well, that's gonna be Tom Cruise for sure, but I do secretly wish it was a Jawa, or even Robin Williams from Fisher King. Anything to make this movie slightly less predictable. With regard, Henry. Does this mean Harrison Ford will show up? Is someone gonna get shot in the head, develop amnesia, and forget this movie ever happened? Can I volunteer?
No, sir, I ain't going on this one. What? I'm not going.
Here we have another overused trope, where a character repeatedly insists they're not going to do a thing when there's no doubt in anyone's mind they're going to ultimately do the thing. Thanks for wasting our time, movie. Somehow this airstrike they called in arrives in like 30 seconds and does not injure or kill either of our two heroes. Building surfing. Also, how much you want to bet this collapse brought on by the airstrike explosion actually opens up some tomb or exposes some kind of ancient bullshit required to advance the plot? Like $500?
Haram.
Pay up. How did anyone at the studio sign off on 55-year-old Tom Cruise playing some active special ops field agent with a penchant for screwing up? Even Josh Duhamel is too old for this shit.
You hunt for antiquities, stealing whatever isn't nailed down and selling it on the black market.
If you know this, why do you keep sending them out? I guess you're going to punish him now, so the movie has some manufactured tension. But if this is his reputation, and you haven't punished him so far, and he's 55 goddamn years old, you have only yourself to blame.
You're getting in the hole with her.
Him.
Wait, what? I'm with Blue Scarf Lady on this. How does this make any sense to send these two down with her? You just said you don't trust them, and now you're going to send them down with her alone? I'm so mad at you, I'm going to give you direct access to the very thing you came here for. This whole thing opened up because of an airstrike and a building collapse, but no one involved here seems the least bit concerned that even more ground around the hole might give way, when in reality the cavern here is so f***ing huge the entire town should have been sucked into a sinkhole.
Get the lights.
And 7 hours later, after they somehow lowered all this shit down into the cavern and then fed power to it as well, the lights came on. The most beautiful way to set up lights for a movie shot is also the least practical in real life. Remind me again why we set up the lights 100 feet away from the space we actually want illuminated. Digital cameras do not do this. Floating invisible camera. Floating invisible camera is now handheld. Magically appearing previously floating an invisible handheld camera. Also, what is she even looking at to know what she's shooting? Movie absolutely has no idea how to camera. As this treasure is stolen, it's as good a time as any to bring up the choice not to have anyone else down here. Weird enough, you sent down the idiots and thieves you don't trust, but then you don't send down any security or manpower to keep them in check?
This is not a tomb. It's a prison.
Actually, I think it might be both, and so is this movie.
Get out now. We got reports of bogeys inbound.
You say that, but clearly the getting out now part of your order is going to take 45 minutes based on what we were shown when they were lowered down. And by then, any bogeys will be full-on bogeying. He shoots the rope and activates the ancient thing, out of the blue, after being ordered out of there. Because, why? Because the mummy has to show up in this movie at some point, and the screenwriter couldn't find a way for it to happen that made any sense, so he wrote this. Yes, we buried her for her terribleness, but we created a Goonies booby trap to bring her back up, just in case in the future they want to make movies about this shit. Mummy movie that needs a cheap scare goes for sudden spiders, with somewhat hilarious results. Dear title maker, if you're going to make us read, the least you could do is not make the font skinny, small, and the same color as the freaking sand.
Do it.
Movie embarks on a 2-hour effort to make its female lead both unlikable and unnecessary, meaning she doesn't need to be here and we don't want her here, yet she shall remain. Not only is this the second Mummy movie to feature a sudden sandstorm, it's the second Tom Cruise movie to feature a sudden sandstorm.
It was not 15 seconds.
However long it lasted, it wasn't real.
Movie took way too many notes from Jurassic World on how to write characters with a romantic past to create cliche sexual tension. Let's go over the facts here. He just stabbed someone. Twice. He's not responding to your voice, he looks like a zombie, he's walking towards you. Just end him already. What else are you waiting for?
280 on the heading.
What the hell is that?
It's a murder of crow. Oh, wait, those are ravens, aren't they? So it's a murder of ravens. Also known as a Ray Lewis special. Wait, what? To film this scene, for the sake of authenticity, Tom Cruise actually strapped himself into a plane and crashed it on purpose.
We need your help identifying the bodies.
You do? The f*** is this unnecessary bullshit you're slinging here? She literally met these dudes today. Sure, mystical resurrection, blah blah blah, but how has nobody been freaking out that his body is even still intact? Fun visual, I guess, but how would he be unknown? He was on a flight with such sensitive artifact material, his name and rank would have been logged in about half a dozen different places. But whatever, movie. Let's just be honest. You lost me at hello.
You know what's happening.
Exposition comic relief zombie ghost sucks at expositioning.
You better come in the
This is what should happen to anyone that tries using the "you better come take a look at this" cliche. Also, couldn't the movie have just started here, with the first mummy attack? It'd be more mysterious, and literally everything we've learned up till now could easily have been given to us via dialogue, flashbacks, and natural story progression. Does the mummy lady actually need to kiss her victims on the lips, or is she just horny? I guess whoever she mummifies actually turns into a zombie, and not a mummy. I suppose that makes it easier for the movie to give our heroes some drone baddies to kill later in the finale, but it still doesn't jive with much of mummy lore.
How did you get out of that plane? There's not a single scratch on your body.
Unbreakable remake is a lot more mummy-centric than I remember the original being.
We've developed this theory that an Egyptian princess had been erased from the history books.
You've developed a theory out of thin air, then?
The dagger of Set. A ceremonial knife with a large jewel at the hilt.
This movie is like a pubescent boy. It can't get enough of its own expositing and ends up rubbing itself wrong.
We've angered the gods.
Yeah, Set, Thor, Hades, Jehovah, Jay-Z, they're all pissed at you.
You know, I always thought I had a chance with her.
What?
Expositional comic relief zombie ghost also sucks at comic relief.
Look at me. Look at my face. I'm cursed, Nick.
Pick a lane, movie. Boris or Brendan. Most of the movie wants to Karloff it up, but this character feels like he should be hanging out with Frasier.
She's got plans for you, Nick. Can't run. You can't escape.
Even if this is true, why didn't she just show up to Nick herself and explain shit? Why use the dead not funny friend guy as a conduit? Especially when she's going to show herself to him in the alley in the next scene. Why are rats attacking him? Is she controlling them? Do you care? Does it matter? Is it creepy? Okay, I guess kissing is the official kill you but come back to life and I control you mechanism in this film. Ancient Egyptian curses are weirdly obsessed with what is a relatively modern romantic custom. I swear to God, if this movie flashes back to this same desert scene one more time, I may have to shove its obelisk so far up its sarcophagus you won't even be able to read the hieroglyphs. Terry Tate, mummy linebacker. Why is she surprised? She obviously can sense where these artifacts are, but somehow she didn't know that the stone was missing? Instead of completing the ritual, the mummy lady goes after Jenny, who I'm guessing poses exactly 1.5% of a true problem. Creature who has previously quickly and efficiently sucked the life out of every non-Cruise human in her path decided to throw her across the room instead because reasons? Tom Cruise in World War Z. Nick takes off without Jenny, which is sexist, logical, predictable, and hilarious.
You're saying that she brought the plane down there on purpose?
Yeah, and with such pinpoint accuracy, I'm guessing she must be working with the gal from Hidden Figures.
Nick, she's in your head.
Imagine if Dumbledore had been this direct with Harry. We'd have never gotten Order of the Phoenix. This stuff with the attacking mummy zombie torso goes on for some time. For the second time in this movie, Tom Cruise falls out of a vehicle crash that he will miraculously survive. Oh no, here she comes, slowly walking through the woods. Why do horror villains always equate deliberate walking with terror?
Get her, Nick!
What's more hilarious, him grabbing this stick or Jenny yelling, "Get her, Nick"? It's a tie in my book. Black Ops saviors repeatedly shoot the mummy with darts and arrows, which means there's some kind of Whaling Corporation keep the evil alive for research going down right now. Else they'd be firing Hellfire missiles and RPGs at her ass. Harpuna Sex Machina? Collector of rare monster artifacts puts them on display where they can be seen, stolen, or accidentally destroyed by anyone walking through.
Make yourself comfortable.
Oh snap! Remember how Russell Crowe was in this? And spent 8 minutes narrating the opening? Yeah, me neither.
My name is Jekyll.
Shameless Dark Universe building attempt is shameless. If he knows how dangerous he is when he turns, why on earth would he wait to be this close before giving himself his high diabetes shot?
In truth, she works for us.
Jenny betrayal is the worst kind of betrayal. Also, remember how Russell Crowe was in this and spent 8 minutes narrating the opening? Yeah, me neither. But how are mere earthly chains keeping this ancient god chick confined? If handcuffs were enough to subdue her, why did the Egyptians bury her so far underground inside a stone sarcophagus? How'd the humans even, you know what? Forget this shit. I honestly don't care. F*** a pony.
I love my father with all my heart.
Sheesh, I can understand the need for a bit of exposition to catch us up. But we've already heard and seen this story twice before, and once through narration. I will not be triple exposition, damn it!
It hurts.
And that's why you use protection. Always make sure your Mummy Jr. is wrapped securely before burial, kids.
What was I supposed to tell you? Would you even have believed me?
Tom Cruise's agent, after she'd convinced him to say yes to this film, and immediately after he'd read the script.
Despite my embedded judgment, I care about you.
Movie tries to get us to buy into a relationship between two characters with so little chemistry, not even Walter White could find it.
Drink?
Dear God, yes please.
Your language is simple.
Only a fictional movie character would ever say this about the English language, because English is f***ed up, y'all. But also, and perhaps more importantly, after 1/3 of the movie being backstory, and 1/3 with her chained up, I'm beginning to think this mummy movie has very little interest in mummying. Thank God this building had a museum-quality advancement of humanoid skulls display, so that Nick would be distracted by it, so that Jekyll could surprise him with some kind of a... I'm struggling to pretend like I care anymore on this one, Chris. Just FYI, when writing and narration is going to get less and less inspired as we move forward. She's talking to a spider. A spider.
I am truly sorry, Mr. Morton.
Studio is so committed to this dark universe bullshit, they have to literally cram in some Mr. Hyde into the movie where we're first meeting Dr. Jekyll. You have brain-controlled spiders in your arsenal with a couple easy incantations, and you're just now using one. High-tech, vastly important door security system has one door on a delay, because you never know when you'll need a convenient plot point.
It's not me that wants to kill ya, it's Henry!
Fucking who? Even when your character is puking liquid metal, I still don't need to see characters puking in movies, goddammit. Movie includes Cursed Book from the 1999 Mummy film. Does this mean those movies are in the same world as this one? This expanded universe just got expandier. Phew, good thing she ran through that door and beat that guy up, so she could do absolutely nothing. Seriously, this movie has no idea how to use this character. Other than some knowledge exposition, exactly what has she done? She didn't even pull her own parachute cord in the plane crash, for Pete's sake. Okay, that was some badass mummy Cirque du Soleilness right there, and I'd take a sin off if it weren't for the fact that the rig is needlessly complex just so it could happen. What can I say? The boy likes to run in his movies. With this much power, what exactly does she need him for again? Is she just lonely? Codependent? Honey, you don't need a man to make you whole. You good, girl.
Let go! I know where the stone is!
But also, you're dead, and you haven't been seen in an hour. I'm really thinking you're just part of the evil chick's plan. What the f***? How did he know she was about to be attacked? How was he remotely close enough to save her? How was... Oh, screw it, man. Like, I give a Movie can't decide if its zombie mummies are slow and one at a time or fast and all at once. You can't just World War Z it when it suits you, movie. Keep your zombies consistent. Oh, she's a mer-mummy now, too? Had he not trained so hard to hold his breath for Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, Tom Cruise would definitely have died shooting this stupid underwater scene for this stupid mummy movie. Wait, why are these Knights of the Dead table disintegrating? Why isn't Nick running right now?
Come to me.
If Nick had this little control over things, why did I even watch this movie, eh?
Give in.
Jesus, mommy lady. Why is his submission so important to you? You imprinted on him early on. Presumably you do not need the human inside him to give permission, and yet you keep asking for it, drawing out the film's runtime. Okay, I'm calling a family meeting. Let's count the ways this moment ruins the last shred of hope for this film. First, other than a false surprise, is there really any reason he needs to stab himself? Nothing has been mentioned about the knife giving the stabber the power over the stabbee, so who cares who does the penetrating? 2, he has absolutely no idea what the stabbing will do except turn him into the definition of evil.
So why does he even think this would bring his passive and pointless lady friend back to life?
3, did you see that knife? It was dull from age and curved. It might bruise a sternum, but it ain't stabbing anything. 4, what the f***, yo? All he had to do was crush the red stone. The mummy lady even said so, but instead he stabs himself with the ruby blade that mummy lady has been hoping to stab him with all movie. Movie gives us a visual summary of what it's been doing to us for the last 90 minutes. Somehow he got so attached to Jenny during this film, he literally cannot live without her. It's like the most Forrest Gump thing about this movie, I guess. Demon Cruise is evil, but does good. Sorry, movie, you can't go both ways. Is the mercury still necessary? Her life has been sucked out, the stone is shattered, and Jolly Satan Nick pretty much decides who lives or dies now anyway.
But what are we even doing here?
Vale would be great at CinemaSins.
Yes, those. I don't know what they are, you don't know what they are, who gives a f***?
Now what's the next step of your master plan?
Crashing this plane.
You don't own me. I'm not just...
Get the lights.
Aziz Light!
Footprints in the sand.
The devil.
Could it be